and welcome to this year's annual members meeting. I'm Tash and I'm the President of the Students' Union, and as part of that role I'm also the Chair of the Union's Board of Trustees. As a membership organisation, it's really important that all students have the opportunity to understand where the Union is up to in its work for everyone here at Staffs. We hold this meeting so that everyone has the opportunity to see how the Union performed financially for the previous year and get an update on how the year is going so far. Firstly, I'll be handing over to Ken Sankson, who is our CEO of Staffs University Students' Union, to talk through the 2017-18 financial accounts, and then the officer team, in their capacity as trustees, will talk through some of the great work we've already been doing for the students this academic year. So, without further ado, over to Ken.
So as Tash said, this is the finance section of the Student Union's members meeting. We're a charity. Our calendar year runs through from August to July each year. A little bit further over. So our financial year runs from August through to July each year. So these are the accounts for the last academic year. They're prepared in August, they're audited in September, and our board have signed them off in October. So to move on to try and make some sense out of these figures. The full accounts for the organisation are available on the Student Union website. If you go to the section on the Students' Union, what we do, or just search for finances. But what we'll try and do is do some of the headline figures for last year to try and give you that understanding. So this breaks down where our turnover is as an organisation. We turn over around about £3.4 million as a student union. Some of that will come through our trading activity, and some of that will come through our block grant, which is the money that's given from the university each year to fund the activities of the Students' Union. So we have a composition of both the Student Union as a charity. We also have a trading division called Student Union Enterprises, which covers the work that we do with external suppliers, so companies like who want to advertise with us, or landlords who we're working with as part of our letting agency. So that explains the Staffordshire Student Union Enterprise contribution. We obviously run Squeeze Box, College Road Shop, Leek Road Shop, Leek Road Venue, and Ember Lounge. Last year we saw, and you can see in the comparisons, a fall in our overall trading of around about £212,000. These represent the turnover rather than any profit. We're, as a student union, we are a not-for-profit organisation, so any money that's generated from the services we provide gets reinvested back into the organisation and therefore spent on our activities. In terms of seeing some of the underlying trends that we're experiencing as a students' union, our trading outlet sales did dip slightly last year. So in Ember Lounge we saw an overall fall-off in trade of about 6%. In Leek Road Venue that was more pronounced at 14%. We had a big hit on our retail last year with both our College Road Shop and Leek Road shop underperforming, but also we had a big growth in our Squeeze Box. Just in terms of explaining why some of that trading, that fall off has been identified as taking place. In the previous year, we've been working with the university on a cashless card system called Unicard. That has historically had the students' bursaries on, but during the 2016-17 year, the university put a lot more incentives for, as part of their marketing activity for students coming to Staffs. The result of that is that there was a change last year where that didn't happen. That meant around £750,000 less funding was put on those cards. And as a student union, 3 out of 4 of the transactions go through the Students' Union, and that resulted in a dip in the overall trading through Unicard of about £500,000. And that's obviously affected our overall income as an organisation. That said, we did still continue to spend as was planned. So in terms of our work on representation and student voice, our running of the advice service, our student activity, which are our clubs and societies, and also our communications and marketing work with students. The areas that in blue are the infrastructure, so in terms of the work that we do around developing our students with employability in HR, and also the governance of the organisation, its admin, IT and finances. The result last year of the fall in income was, sorry, back one, was that we had a fall in our net income down to just over £1 million, and we spent a very similar £1,053,000. The result last year was that we just about ran a surplus for the year, and that surplus remains in the organisation, forms part of our reserves for reinvestment. And just in terms of giving you a snapshot, obviously as a charity we run over a period of years. Where we were up to at the end of last July was we had fixed assets in the organisation, so those are, if you like, the residual value of what we've already invested in the capital of the organisation. We have quite liquid current assets in terms of the stocks that we hold, that we've bought for our outlets, but also people who may owe us money, which might be the university for things like the block grant, and then our cash and balance sheet. We owe suppliers funds, so that's what accounts for the creditors, which left us with net current assets of about 1.1 million at the end of the year. But as an organisation, we have also longer-term liabilities. The primary one of those is with a long-term pension scheme, and again, once you take into account what the current cash holding is, what the creditors are, our reserves at the moment and available to us are about 328,000. So that was last year, and moving into this year. So we've obviously taken on board where we were with the changes in Unicard and how that might impact again this year. We're working to try and increase our turnover in all of our outlets by around about 5%. But the big change this year is that we've seen a fall in our block grant. So the university has reduced the funding available to us by 5% this year, in line with what it's trying to do across the estate. And that means we're having to balance what we do with the income coming in and available to us. So overall, as an organisation, we're working on an expected income of about 1,088,000, and this is how we plan to spend it. So again, looking at that expenditure on our representation, student voice, student activity and communications. When our trustees considered the situation with both the planned and forecast reduction in income, they were very keen that we didn't massively reduce what we were doing in services. So we've made a decision as an organisation this year to continue to commit to those. And the result of that is that although we have a forecast income of just over £1 million, we also have a budgeted spend of just over 1.1 million. So as an organisation this year, we are planning to spend more than we've got coming in. And the reason for showing you the balance sheet and the reserves is that's what we will be drawing down in order to fund this year's activity. In addition to the spend that we've got in our regular activity, the trustees have also signed off on continued investment into the services of the organisation. So we've invested over the summer in our EPOS system, which is all the till system, and that's particularly allowed us to take and recognise the fact that students are increasingly using contactless cards. So again, making sure that we've got up-to-date hardware, software that works, but also that we're able to be very responsive to the change in how students are spending. We've upgraded kitchen facilities and lighting in our venues. Squeezebox got a sparkle over the summer, and we've also invested in new hardware for our student media group as well. So that's the snapshot of our finances, where we were last year and where we're planning to be this year. One of the things we're required to do, although we're a charity, we're also covered under the Education Act, is that we have to be transparent about our affiliations as an organisation. We have no affiliations to any political organisation as a student union, but we do have an awful lot of affiliations with the student groups that we run. So we are cheerleading and members of the British Cheerleading Association. We've got Mountaineering Council members, Christian Union membership, Student Radio Association, and NASTA. As a union, we're also part of the National Union of Students, and we contribute equivalent of 4% of our block grant as an affiliation to that each year. As a trade organisation, we're also a member of a number of trade bodies, so the Association of Licensed Multiple Retailers. We get membership of the National Council for Voluntary Organisations as part of being NUS, but also in the advice service we are covered professionally with our relationship with the Citizens Advice Bureau. We're members of the Institute of Money Advisors, and then with the work that we do with our lettings business, we're members of the Property Ombudsman. We've got members of staff who, again, for the organisation, gain benefits from professional association of personal development, marketing, accountancy. We are members of Advice UK, the British Institute of Innkeeping, and the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health. So I'm going to hand back to Tash to update on how some of that money has been spent and how it's positively impacted students. Tash.
Okay, so as officers and as trustees, in our officer capacity, we each look at, well, we basically take the lead for a strand within the union's strategic plan. So the four key strategic lines are positively impacting all students, giving the students the power to change, belonging, but also competitive edge. So we're starting off with positively impacting all students, and myself, Scott and Tuesday will be presenting on this one, so I'd like to invite them up to our little platform here. So when it comes to positively impacting all students, so this has obviously been what we've been working on since August 2018 till October. So student union membership numbers are currently 15,453. It's down 6.6 year to date on the 17-18 figures, which was 16,553. But however, this is a change to a positive opt-in at enrolment, mainly due to the fact of GDPR, which is that lovely thing that we've all had to start looking into over the past 6 months.
So academic representation, we currently have 365 registered representatives, and 88 of those were elected by the voice team in the union, and 277 were notified by academics. This is 142 fewer than the same date last year, and 122 representatives have completed training to date, with 22 more in progress on Blackboard. That's all I can say about that.
And we've increased our reach to Blackheath Lane and Shrewsbury, aiming to have at least one person there every week. For example, this week we've got 2 people across 2 days. So yeah, cool.
We've also got a crossover with the Student Hub, so with the introduction of the Student Hub this year, this means that at least we have at least somebody there from the union every single day representing one of our different departments. So it could be that in the morning you'd have someone from the Advice Centre, but it could be that Tuesday you'll have somebody there who is representing our voice team. Next slide, please. So, competitive edge. What we've had is we've had 382 applications for work in the union. So what we do is we employ students every single year to work in our venues, our outlets. So this can be our bars, our shops, this could be Squeeze Box, this could be Green Pad, or even front of house staff. We've had 156 go through assessment centres with 131 new students employed this year. We've got 200 staff employed to date. This is down by 16 students from the 17-18 year. But we have also given year to date 13,230 hours of student employment. We have selected National Union Student and Sport England funding from their Active Students programme. We've actually got £4,000 of the funding overall. We're going to be focusing this on mature students and their families. And the Active Students is all about trying to get students that are engaged, mature students that are engaged who aren't active, which is why we want to link it with not only looking at our mature students, but looking at their families as well. We have 112 group committee members trained in September. This was part of our scheme to try and improve our engagement, so we actually created a committee conference rather than just having training sessions. We've included in this the new Points to Prizes development scheme. This is a student group development programme that is all about trying to get our student groups and committees actually looking at what they're doing to develop not only themselves but their members. We've had 55 students that attended Radio 1 behind the scenes Q&A. When we actually talked to Radio 1, the Radio 1 staff that were organising these, we actually had one of the biggest engaged sessions, which was really positive. And our video games union, which is developing to support the growth in groups and events around gaming and esports. Next slide, please.
Okay, so this is my strategic strand, Power to Change. So we've had 152 unique and active network members. engaged and registered with the union, but surprisingly we've got 514 engaged on social media, so we just need to try and convert that rate onto our website and get them involved with the union activities. We're doing student forums and representative council meetings just like we've just done before. This is allowing students to have that chance to say what they want to say and get things actually changed positively. Snap polls have been in something that's introduced this year, so similar to a 5-minute forum where we go out, ask a question and get as many responses as we can and then feedback this back to the university. So this is things like timetabling, this could be car parking. So all of this is being fed back to the university from what you guys have said on social media. The Big Ask Survey 2018 is being rolled out as we speak. So currently we're just testing it, making sure everything's going to work before we launch it, but that'll be launched this month. And also happening at the moment is the NUS delegate candidates. So there's an election going on for NUS, which is a conference that takes place later on in 2020. 2019, yes, I'm 2 years ahead.
It will be happening in 2020 though as well.
And that's going to be happening in Glasgow. So there'll be four people representing Staffordshire University going to that conference. And also the game changers. So we've done quite a few game changers this year. We felt game changers is a better word as it's a bit more relevant to students and campaigns and manifesto ideas. So we've got Tuesday's Big Ask Angela. I'll let you talk about Ask Angela.
Ask Angela has been rolled out across all of our venues and is a way for students to feel safe when they are out. If they feel uncomfortable, they can approach the staff and they will be able to take them out of situations safely and quickly. And Scott, you can go back on to November.
Okay, so it is Movember as well. This is about raising money for a fantastic cause, which is mental health for men. There is a link on the website, so if you could donate, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Lee is absolutely smashing us. I've only got 25 quid so far. It's quite upsetting. And Sustainable Union, so this is... I'll let you speak about you. Sustainable Union, this is Steph's big thing, is she wants to make us all very sustainable. Yeah. Do you want to talk about UCAN?
Yeah, so UCAN was introduced to the union last year. It was all about trying to get people to recognise how being active can actually help support your mental health, but also on top of that, how finding that new interesting thing at university that you might not have tried before, how that can actually really change your experience at university. And we're still continuing to do that as a union this year.
I've just had a vision of Steph telling me off because I skipped over her big thing. Sustainable Union includes things like sustainability development goals, which can be implemented into any workplace. And this encourages people to be more sustainable and work towards a better future and a better world. I feel like I did it justice there.
You did.
Be safe. So both Steph Tuesday and Tash have been working with Simon Stone on getting the campus up to a place where you can feel safe. And this is working with the PC Simon Stone, just to make you feel safer on campus. And we've also done a graphical diagram on giving you advice on what to do when you're walking around campus and if you do feel unsafe, and where to go if you feel like you're in an awkward situation. Our Proud to be Staffs Awards, so this is something that we're rolling out the whole year. So you can nominate your lecturers, you can nominate a staff member who's helped you go through your studies really well, and give them the recognition that they deserve. And mental wellness and well-being is something that's on all of our manifestos, and every month there's going to be something or an element about mental health and well-being and where to go, where to get advice, and to make sure that you have the best time at university.
Next slide, please.
So my strand is belonging or being part of staffs. So we had 2,507 unique students attend the welcome fairs this year, and we had 4,511 expressions of interest, which is translated to 2,083 memberships by 1,391 students, and that means that society memberships are up 141, sports group memberships down 147, and network memberships up 38. 73 student groups are directly supported by the union, plus 19 Bucks clubs, And Campus Vibrancy programme has expanded with daytime focus. So this includes our coffee house sessions over at LRV and Verve. We've also introduced Ember Live Lounge once a month on a Thursday. And we also have the weekly food market and a monthly record and book sales outside of Ember.
So, an excellent student-owned union. So this is basically, this can be anything that the union does. It doesn't necessarily relate to a specific strand. It's mainly down to having a quality students union that actually does things for you. So firstly, 2,390 unique students have attended club nights so far this year. And we've had our highest attendance for karaoke to date, which is 1,256 unique students have attended karaoke. So unique students mean that you've attended it once, so you could have potentially attended karaoke about 5 times this year, but that one time that you attended, that'll be down to those numbers. And percentage of memberships attending has increased from 17% to 18%, but frequency and spend per head have actually decreased within our venues.
So retail trade is up 12%. This is a shift from Leek Road to College Road. This could be due to a number of things, aka Krispy Kremes. And then the venue meal sales are down 7%, with challenges with 30 minutes or free promise in September, October. Yeah, Scott Greenband.
But we have a kitchen order management system which will hopefully rectify that. We've also got 359 GreenPad tenants currently in our houses. GreenPad is a lettings agency that the union run. That's down on 29 from 17 and 18. But this is probably due to the university accommodation absorbing most of those people because there's much more availability. And we've also mentioned there fewer suitcase arrivals. So this is people arriving without a plan or a plan on where to stay. So international students, for example, and we've decreased that massively this year as well.
Oh, and there's more. This year, our Best Bar None assessments has started. So Best Bar None is the national accreditation that we go by. Last year we achieved gold standard, and we have achieved gold standard for the last 5 years. I just had to check with Ken because I was about to say 3. We've achieved Best Bar None Gold for the last 5 years, so that means that we are at the highest standard, and we've actually placed within the top 5 the last few years as well. So this year our Best Bar None assessments have started. This includes the Ask Angela introduction, the drinkware promotion, and the Be Safe awareness. So all of those come within Best Bar None. But also, like what we were saying with the Sustainable Union, what we wanted to do was, instead of having a sustainability position within the union, we actually changed it so that sustainability is embedded within the union values, and every single department will be working on sustainability just as a day-to-day normal thing. So we've had a 10-fold increase in bring your own cup discounts. This is the discount that we've rolled out into all of our venues now, and 3,600 cups have been saved just this term, in this term, and we found out at last weekend that we were Green Gown finalists in 2018. This was actually linked with a Staff's TV show when they did Top Gear, and they worked out if going by public transport, cycling, or going in the car from here to Stafford, which one would actually get you there quicker, but also how sustainable it was to do each of the different areas. Thank you very much for attending the annual members meeting. Does anybody in the audience have any questions for us at this time? We have one at the back.
Yeah, LGBT plus is a major part of that. Most of the numbers are for the LGBT plus network.
Apologies that it wasn't up there.
Yeah.
Any other questions? We will be obviously up in the union, which is on the College Road side, if anybody does have any questions following this. As we know, this is being broadcast out live, so please do send in any questions that you have for us, and we will get back to you with an answer. Thank you very much for attending, watching, and we'll see you all later.